Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me for another yoga class today. Today we'll be doing a slow flow style of class that will give us an opportunity to find a steadiness and ease in our bodies. This class is perfect for beginners, so if you're just joining us for the first time, you're in the right space. Today for practice, you'll need just an open space wherever you can fit just approximate length of your body. A yoga mat gives a good indicator of that space, but if you don't have a yoga mat, that's totally fine too. Blanket or the bare floor will work just fine. Additionally, if you have some yoga blocks, these can be of assistance throughout your practice, but if you don't have them, some pillows, maybe a couple of books nearby will give you the same type of support that we might be using these for throughout our practice today. So today we'll begin in a posture that's designed to open up the hips. We're going to do that right away before we move through some of our more fluid shapes and postures. The purpose of this practice is to connect more deeply with your breath. And these postures that we'll be visiting just serve as a tool, as a vehicle for you to explore your breath a little bit more deeply. So let's begin on our back, on the mat, your knees bent, your feet flat on the earth. Allow your head to rest on the earth. If for any reason you need a gentle pillow just to support your head, that's more than fine, you can do that too. Allow your left hand to find your heart and your right hand your belly. The very first shape that we'll be visiting will be a version of a reclined half frog-like shape. If we were on our bellies, this would be a more intense sensation through the hip, but we're going to start on our backs with our right ankle crossed over our left knee. And once you find this shape, you kind of settle in, make any micro adjustments, little movements that perhaps help your hips, your shoulders, back of your head, bottom of that left foot. Find the earth and rest a little bit more comfortably. We'll be visiting this shape for about 60 more seconds, for a total of 90 seconds. And some of these shapes will be designed where we hold and rest in the shape versus move fluidly from one to the other. So our body has time to rest and melt, soften, before we begin the movements to engage the balance between strength and flexibility. Begin to notice your breath, the fact that you're breathing. This awareness of breathing in and breathing out, without changing anything about this pattern, this natural rhythm that your body creates. And you slow your mind down and notice the length of your breath in and the length of your breath out. Just observing without changing a thing, without any judgment. Take one more breath, just like that. As you soften with that next exhalation, slowly uncross your ankle from your knee, placing your right foot back down to the earth. Notice the sensations in your right hip, your left hip, entire back body. Notice the space underneath your bottoms of your feet. Slowly allow your arms to float down by your sides and your fingertips finding the earth. Down by your hips, past your hips, fingertips pointing towards your feet. Then slowly walk your feet in just a little bit. Maybe your fingertips find your heels. Press through the earth with your 10 toes, the balls of your feet, your heels, and gently begin to press your hips up towards the direction of the sky. Puffing your heart and your hips up, engaging through the quads, glutes. Perhaps your hands come underneath you for a little bind. If not, you can leave the hands where they are, just pressing through your shoulders and your hands evenly, along with your feet and your toes. Take another breath here, noticing the belly as it lifts up towards the sky. And with an exhale, you'll undo that bind if you haven't. Lower your hips down gently, one vertebra at a time, beginning from the middle of the back all the way down to your hips. Slowly press your hips down to the earth, allow the belly to puff up to the sky. This time we're doing a little reversal, arching of the back. There should be a hollow space underneath your back, and then we'll slowly tip our pelvic bowl back up towards the ceiling, pressing through your hands and feet evenly, lifting your hips up. Again, option to take that bind or just press your hands firmly into the earth along with your feet, toes, engaging through the leg muscles, shoulders, glutes. Take a breath. Slowly let it down again, releasing that bind if you haven't. Allow the middle of the back come to the earth first, followed slowly by your hips, rocking the hips down and back, pressing towards the earth with the tailbone, puffing the belly up. And then slowly begin to find a neutral spine position. Come back to notice your breath here. Just a gentle breathing in, a slow and steady breath out. So now we have the left side. We'll slowly pick the left foot off the ground, hinge from the hip, allow your knee to fall to the left side by bringing your left foot towards your right knee. So we're doing the same shape as we did on the right side, but we're doing the left. Again, make any tiny movements that your body needs. Maybe pressing to the earth with those feet, shimmying through the hips. Notice the earth underneath your shoulders, your head. Then we're going to come right back to that place of observation, where we become the observer. When we're observing, we remove the reactivity from the equation. We become scientists. Scientists of observation of our breath. Curiosity driving the inquisitive nature of noticing your breath length in and noticing the length of your breath out. Pausing at the bottom of each breath out before taking that next breath in. And as you begin to become more familiar with the pattern and the pace of your breath, perhaps just for these next 3 cycles of breath, notice any sensations, any feelings associated with your breath movement through your body that your muscles might feel. Maybe it's your ribs expanding from right and left towards the ceiling and the earth, all the way from your hips to your chest. And then noticing the softening through your body as you breathe out. You have one more breath, slow and steady, slower you breathe, the calmer your heartbeat, calmer your mind. Notice your left toes, your right toes. Slowly uncross your left ankle from your right knee. Allow the knees fall together this time and walk your feet apart, about hips width distance on the mat apart. And then coming back to that place of observation, so you're noticing all of the qualities of your breath, its length, its width, its pace, the places where it gets sticky and stuck, the place where it expands. And noticing this now along with the feelings in your body that associate with those sticky, stuck places or the open spaces. Noticing where the breath can travel. Multi-dimensional being and multi-dimensional breath. Slowly let that breath go. And begin to walk your feet towards one another. As though they're in prayer, allow the knees to fall out to the right and left sides. Allow the left hand to find your heart and your right hand your belly. We'll be here for just 3 breaths. Allowing your hips and knees to soften towards the earth. And perhaps even in your mind, repeating the simple mantra, I am safe. And take one more breath here. Again, just as we practiced before, noticing and observing all the spaces where your breath can go. And then softening, melting around all the edges. Allow your knees to come back together as you draw them in. And slowly with the knees together, allow your knees to come up towards the belly and towards the place of your heart, your chest. Arms can wrap around your knees, your legs. Giving yourself a little hug here. Just softening into this new shape. Each shape, an opportunity to feel just a little bit more deeply. Without running, without rushing to the next space or shape or posture. Can you just be? And know that you are safe and that you are held. Let's invite a little bit of movement to the body. Begin to rock gently onto the spine, holding onto the knees, but gently so, allowing the earth to support you as you rock forward and back from the head or the shoulders to the hips until you come all the way up to a seated space. Allow yourself to find a place of comfort with your legs crossed. Inhale your arms up, we'll look up. Exhale the arms open wide like a T. Allow the fingertips to fall and float down towards the earth. Eyes can be soft, closed. Whatever allows you to feel more here. Maybe perhaps drawing the hands together behind your back and inhaling and opening your heart up towards a space in front of your nose and lifting your chin. Notice your sit bones, your toes, your hips, shoulders, your ears, and the crown of your head. Inhale, fill up the space in your heart like a balloon filling up. And exhale, slowly forward fold over your legs. If you need to, you can bring your hands to your hips or allow the arms to dangle out by the sides of your body, maybe out in front. And whatever this shape looks like in your body, whether it's arms reaching in front of you, arms behind you, or perhaps your knees are popped up and you're just barely hinged over the tops of your legs, and that's fine. Remembering that there's a beginning for every journey, and that your body is exactly where it needs to be right now. And we're going to meet it there. We're going to meet it there with a calm, purposeful breath. Softening with every exhalation. Practicing the art of pause. Like spaces between the notes of fine music. Slowly notice your breath again and take one more full and complete round, starting with an inhale. Noticing all those spaces that create length, that find movement with that in-breath. And then slowly with an exhale, just notice all the softening. And gently breathe in and walk your fingertips back towards your legs, your knees, if you are folded over your legs, or if you have that bind behind your back, slowly release the bind and come back up to a seat. We're going to cross over our ankles and shins, moving to a tabletop-like shape. So finding a little bit more movement into our body tonight. Let's work on our core now that we've really explored everything from our hips to our shoulders. We did our nice calming forward fold. Let's lengthen the right arm long in front of us, reaching for the opposite side of the room. Fingertips reaching, that right shoulder melted back, engaging through the shoulder blades. Notice your hips and the ribs, stitch them together, as well as the belly, the ribs, tailbone, everything tucked with a flat belly, flat back. Lengthen the left leg long behind you. Maybe you begin with those toes on the floor and you just notice that feeling here. You can even rock gently forward and back. And then let's work on a little vision vestibular balance challenge. Again, with everything, just working that balance, working that wobble. Let's look to the left corner of each of our mat with our eyes only, leaving the chin and forehead through center. Then look over to the right corner edge of your mat. So you're rocking forward and back, and looking left and right on your mat by moving your eyes only, working that peripheral vision. Now look forward at the fingertips. Pause, slow down, lift the left toes up off the mat, press that left foot back into the wall space behind you, this imaginary space as you reach your right fingers all the way to the opposite side of the room. Notice your breath here, waking up through the body. And then, now we're going to engage that proprioception. We're going to reach our right hand out to the right corner edge of the mat and our left toes out to the left corner edge of the mat, making this imaginary diagonal line with our right arm and our left leg. Notice that burn, notice that wobble, notice the shape, notice the feeling of excitement through your body as you quiver and quake and try to keep from toppling over. And if you do, come right back to center, start again. Take another breath here, and exhale the right hand down, left knee follows. Make some movements here by swimming your hips up towards your wrists and then down towards your heels. Big circles here, just getting some movement through the shoulders, just nursing that left shoulder and right knee that we're kind of supporting us in that balanced floating leg plank. And then we're gonna swim those hips down and back the opposite direction. Just 2 more times. Breathing out, swing those hips down. Breathing in, you swim the hips up. Then let's take a couple of cats and cows. With an in-breath, we'll let the belly float and puff down towards the earth as you lift your heart space. Care Bear stare up to the sky, your hips blossoming behind you. Fingertips are touching the earth with a little padded space underneath the center of your hands, where the fingertips meet your hand. Exhale, round and arch the back. Again, pressing to the earth with the fingertips, toes and knees, tucking your chin under, taking your hips down as you press those shoulder blades up to the sky. And then we'll inhale, reverse that. Belly floats down, fill it up with breath. Gaze lifts. Hips behind you lift. Exhale one more time, round and arch the back. Squeeze it all out, breathing out. Let's come back to that tabletop-like space. We're going to turn our fingertips out to the right and left. Just nurture our wrists a little bit here. And then we'll take the fingertips, point them towards the back, towards our knees, rocking gently forward and back. Now we have a left side to float and balance. So, coming back to that tabletop space. If your knees are beginning to bother you at all, you can always put a blanket underneath your knees for this challenge. Let's lengthen now the right leg. Right toes are to the earth. Left arms reaching long in front of you. Gazes to those left fingertips. Engage through those left shoulder blades. Stitch them in along with your ribs, your hips, your belly. Float those right toes up off the ground. And now that you kind of know where you're going, you choose your version of balance. So the balance with the toes on the earth. Perhaps the toes are lifted and you're gazing to those fingertips. Then we're going to work that vestibular and visual part of our brains and bodies and minds. Looking to the left corner edge of your mat and then to the right, back and forth. Just working that wobble, noticing where you're growing, noticing where you're wobbling, noticing every time you come back, float back to that place of balance. Now that extra challenge, left arm reaches out to the left corner edge of the room. Gaze is center and focus, right leg out to the right side. Balance here. Breathe. Notice all the sensations, all the wobbles. Another breath. Exhale, come back through center. You've done it. Let's separate our hands, sink our hips down and back, toes come together into a child's pose. And I know your wrists are super happy about this. We're going to balance on the fingertips. Allow the head to come down. If your head doesn't come all the way down to the earth, no worries, you just float there. You can put a pillow or blanket underneath your torso and your head, and you rest. Open your arms wide like a T. Float the arms down. Take another breath here. Allow your arms to float down by your sides, palms face up. Fingertips reaching towards your feet, your toes, your heels. And slowly coming back up. Let's give our shoulders some care and some attention. We're going to press through the left hand, hands in knees position. Right arm floats up to the sky. Breathe in, look up. Exhale, thread it underneath your body. Allow the right shoulder and cheek to come down towards the earth. Head softens, shoulders soften. Gaze, cheeks, eyes, fingers, everything softens. Breathe in, unwind, float it up. Exhale, the right hand down, switch sides. Inhale, left arm floats, breathe in and lengthen. Exhale, thread it underneath your body. Taking that left shoulder now, left cheek, down towards the earth. Softening through your face, your shoulders, your fingers. And unwinding, lifting the left fingertips up to the sky. Lower the left hand down. Coming to a place where you can balance on your toes. We're going to do an intense toe stretch. I know it's not everyone's favorite, so you have some options here. Option one is to find all those toes, all 10 piggies, reach down, grab them with your fingertips, point them forward, and then you'll feel an intense stretch all along the bottoms of your feet. You're going to sit back on your heels. So option one, if you cannot reach your heels, you can place a pillow, perhaps a block underneath your bottom, and rest in this way. Another option would be maybe straddling a pillow or some blocks and sitting this way. So either way, you really want the weight to be in your feet. So if you can pin the blocks or the pillow underneath your heels, it would actually be probably the most sensation, but do the one that works for your body. So the goal being your shoulders and hips feeling balanced, feeling lightness and ease in them. And we're just taking that stretch along the bottoms of our feet. Just allowing all that tension to melt away. Let's take another breath here, breathing in. And slowly breathing out. Slowly rock forward, tap your feet on the earth, give them a little bit of love. Let's see how much time we have left together. And unfortunately, we've run out of time today. That was a good little stay and play. Slow and steady. A little bit of both. So I hope that you enjoyed this practice today. A little bit of stretching, a little bit of challenge, and I look forward to seeing you next time we're together to work on a little bit of new movements, a different set of things, different opportunities to play, different opportunities to rest and notice our breath. Thank you so much. This is Rhonda Wilson, Life Balance Yoga, and feel free to click subscribe, follow, or like on any of my channels. Look forward to seeing you next time on the mat.